I just thought it was great. I mean, you can't go wrong with an evil wizard song in my eyes. Like, you just can't go wrong with that. He's an evil wizard and he sings a song about being an evil wizard. Like, it's fantastic. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another new episode of the show. I'm your host, Chris Baglio, and I am joined by my amazing and always so chipper and so happy and so positive co-host, Amanda Sharp.
Chris Baglio, Happy New Year and Happy Season 3.
Yes, Happy Season 3, our official first episode of 2023. That sounds so cool to say. Season 3.
That's why, selfishly, I was like, I'm just going to say it. I claim the one to say it. I'm sorry, Chris Baglio. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's good. It's good. I'm glad we're here at Season 3. We're glad all of you have chosen to spend some time with us here today, whether you're watching us live right here on Facebook and Twitch, or listening or watching the replay of the show, either on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. We appreciate you and welcome you to the show. So if this is your first time checking the show out, just a quick little bit about how the show typically works is that normally Amanda and I share 3 songs with each other that we don't think the other has ever heard before. And then we review and rate those songs on a very complicated sliding scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 being a complete dumpster fire and 5 being just heavenly music to our ears. Just it's pierced our eardrums and our mind and will make every single playlist we ever create, kind of.
Most times, except for when it doesn't.
Yeah. However, today's show, as we were talking about, so we kick off Season 3 with basically
Originals show.
Correct. And very untraditional show. Although if you've listened to us in the past, you know that we do these shows from time to time where we do kind of a countdown, right? So it's sort of our best of lists.
Yeah.
Today, because we know that our Disney episode from last year was our most listened to, most downloaded show of all time for our show, we decided to keep the theme going, keep the good times rolling, and do our... You want to tell them, Amanda? What are we doing today?
I would love to. Oh my gosh, I get to say all the fun things today. Today we are doing, instead of just Disney songs, we're doing Disney villain songs.
Oh,
God. Yeah. And I have to admit, when I'm watching Disney shows, I don't relate to the villains. I relate to the princesses and all of that fun stuff, or the quirky characters.
Yeah.
I never land on the villains. So this was by far, Chris Baglio, the hardest list I had to come up with.
Yeah, this was actually hard because I actually really love the Disney villains, because I think that, even when you look at comic books, having a really good villain really makes the story that much more interesting, and especially with Disney villains, and you think about how many of them are so iconic in just the world of Disney, but even across genres, and how many Disney villains are inspired by mythical, other characters and other stories. So this was really cool for me to do and dive into this. And plus, I wanted to make sure that our lists were very just different. I know in the past you and I have been we'll put the same songs on, but I really wanted to kind of make it let's really try to pick songs that which it worked, because you sent me your list, yes, and we were okay, good. We're on opposite sides, which will be fun to do.
How is it possible we're on opposite teams of bad guys?
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
But there's opposite teams of bad guys, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So for everybody who's checking us out live, feel free to let us know, who is your favorite Disney villain and what is your favorite Disney villain song. And I know in our Facebook group, we had a post going all week long, and we got some great suggestions thrown in there. So thank you, everybody who's been in the Facebook group and participating. We appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. Before we jump into the show, though, we were teasing it out on social media all week. Mm-hmm. And Amanda Sharp, we do have an announcement to make. We have a big announcement to make today.
You know, it's very fitting for season 3. And I'm really pumped about it. I know you're really pumped about it. And one of our current listeners who's checking in with us in the chat and our comments is actually coming in and saying good morning to us. He helped us kind of navigate this and make some decisions. You guys, we're changing the name of the show. What? What?
It's a little slow on the sound drop.
I was like, what?
Please cue the sound effect.
So I'm really pumped about this, Chris. I think for anyone who's listened to us for a lengthy period of time, we put a lot of love and passion into the show, and we just want to continue to reach the masses because we want to bring joy to everyone's Monday morning to get them going right for their week. And so in doing this name change, we feel like we might be found by a few more listeners, which will build our community even more. So Chris, without further ado, I'm going to allow you the honors just because I'm nervous I'm going to tongue tie it. I do not want to ruin the very first time the words of our new title come out of anyone's mouth.
So the new title of the show, which is starting, I guess now. Well, I mean, even though there's this Chris and Amanda show branding all over the place, but don't worry. We're working on all new things, but we figured we'll make the announcement now at the top, and then you'll start seeing the changes happening within our social accounts.
Yes.
And everywhere and anywhere, new title, all that stuff. However, the new name of the show is I don't have that sound effect. It is Song Swap Showdown. So it'll be called Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. That is the new name of our wonderful little show as we begin season 3. So yes, if you are a follower of the show, you will begin to see the changes being made throughout all our social accounts, on our audio podcast feed, on our YouTube channel, website. All of that will be starting to change over to Song Swap Showdown. Triple S.
I couldn't ruin the first time. You saying it like that the second or third time, no big deal. But the first time, woo!
Yeah. Which means now I got to get a new sign made. So there's a whole bunch of new things that are going to be happening, but we figured we're going to let everybody know right from the top. If you're an avid listener of the show and our whole community, we appreciate all of you. And, but yes, so coming in early 2023, you'll see the changeover happen. Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. It's like Triple D, Diners, Drivers, and the Dives. We're
yeah, which I like that show.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Dave Manley is coming in with a comment and saying, changing the name of the show. Now my t-shirt is worthless. Now it's a vintage piece.
There you go.
It's like to send to a new one anyway.
Yeah, don't worry, Dave. When we get the new logo, we're hooking you up, buddy.
That was vintage. That'll be worth something someday.
It will. It'll be worth something. Exactly. Be like, I remember when it was the Chris and Amanda show.
So we're really excited, everyone. Thanks for being excited with us.
Yeah.
We know that it is a change, but at least our name's kind of still going to be in there. Our logo is going to look very similar, so you'll be able to spot us a mile away.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. So we appreciate all hanging out with us and taking this journey with us as we grow and evolve the show. And it's really all because of you and our amazing community here that Amanda and I have, just want to keep doing this show and keep growing it and keep making it better. All the feedback, all the love, all the support. It's just been absolutely amazing. And we're so happy that we're able to share all this with each and every one of you. So thank you all so much for your support. Onward and upward. Long live Song Swap Showdown.
Woo! You nailed it then.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'll get better with it. I promise.
We all will. So Chris, when we're diving into our villain songs, should we go backwards like 3, 2, 1? So we end with our number one pick?
We'll end with our number one. So we'll start backwards and we're going to go all the way up to our number one. Now, once again, we only keep, we could do top 10, top 6, top 5. Well, we keep it to 3s. That's the format of the show. We do things in 3s. So listen, there's probably a billion songs that we could put on. Making these lists is hard enough as it is. So this is our top 3. currently. Because as we know, things can change. But currently, this is our top three.
This is true. This is true.
So we'll start with our 3 and then move to 2 and then number 1. So Amanda Sharp, kick us off. What is your third Disney villain song?
So I'm going to come in with my number 3 pick.
Okay.
From The Beauty and the Beast. Gaston. And you know what? I do not like that man. What an arrogant jerk face.
He is a great villain.
He is. Like,
he's an amazing villain.
I just want to bop him in the head.
Yeah.
Get past yourself. And this is why this was really hard for me to do this list this week, because I don't like the villains typically. And to choose a favorite villain song, I was like, well, Gaston is a catchy song. And he plays it so well.
Yeah. Arrogant jerk face. But it's true. He is so arrogant. Like, they absolutely nails it. I mean, it is probably his number 1 villain trait. He's an arrogant jerk face.
I feel like all of my descriptions are like if I was fighting on the playground in 3rd grade. I just don't like him. And he's not even evil in the same way as some of the other villains. He's just arrogant and just know-it-all. And his big old chest, like, get out of here, deflate yourself, literally.
I mean, but he really is. And that's the one thing, too, like, all the Disney villain songs are great because what they really do is they set that character up. Like, you get everything you already kind of need to know about the character and what that character is going to do from these songs. Like, and that's what also makes them so great, because these villains can really be their villainous self in these songs, which is fantastic.
Even his hair bothers me.
He's got and then we have like a little
rat tail.
Yeah, he's got.
So I know we're supposed to be describing songs in this episode, but apparently Amanda really needed to work through Gaston's appearance.
You really did. There was something that like just totally pushed a button for you about Gaston.
Oh gosh, it hurt.
So, other than that, like, is Beauty and the Beast like one of your favorite Disney movies? Like, or is this like, you know?
I would say it's in my top 5.
Okay.
My top 5. I'm not a reader, so I didn't really relate to Belle. And so I related to other characters a little bit better, but I did think Belle was beautiful. I think the storyline was really, really great. I thought the Beast was good. Shout out to Mrs. Potts, God rest her soul.
Mrs. Potts.
And the little teacup, like little chip, and my favorite part, and if you've not seen Beauty and the Beast by this point, I'm not going to feel bad about my spoiler alert. At the end, when they all turn back into their normal selves.
Right.
Oh, it's so beautiful because you wanted to see what they wanted to see, like what they look like. And they look so similar to the object they were.
Right.
I just love it. So probably my favorite part is the ending, which I think that's no surprise because I read the end of the books first.
Yeah, I was going to say you always read the
stories. Yeah. So it's top 5 movie. I just think it's a really sweet story, as most Disney movies are.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I like this pick. This was actually one of the ones that could have made mine. List for sure, because I do like Beauty and the Beast. I think it's a really great Disney film. And I actually feel like too I have not been a really big fan of the live action Disney films from these cartoons. I don't feel like I don't know. I think there's parts, but I will tell you, I think Beauty and the Beast was done actually really well. I really did like the live action version of Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
I feel like the scene and the way that it could have been made into a live action where, under the water is one thing. Like there's hurdles when it's Disney because sometimes the characters aren't really people.
Right.
That's what makes it a little harder, where Beauty and the Beast is a little bit different. So I agree with you there too. I'm not normally a fan, but this one I could tolerate.
Yeah, this one was good. And and Gaston's is a great villain song.
Jerk.
Mark Roddick checking in with Aladdin and Lion King live action were solid films too. Yeah, you know what? I will tell you, Mark, I hadn't watched Aladdin. I have not watched Aladdin yet. I saw Lion King. I thought it was good. Aladdin, I haven't watched it. That's on my two watch list.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then Mark also check in with, here's future Disney theme for you: Disney villain songs versus Disney hero songs. Interesting.
I think I could run with that.
And Deadpool's not a villain, which I agree with. And Mark is responding actually off of the Instagram post that we put up on the on our account, which said, "Who is your favorite Disney villain?" In which I believe James Scott from Across the Pond podcast had said Deadpool, and Mark chimed right in with Deadpool's not a villain, and I agree. Deadpool's not a villain; he's an anti-hero.
That makes sound confusing. That may sound confusing.
Right. But it's a big difference between a villain and an anti-hero.
I think there's a lot of psychology that can probably go behind how you perceive certain people.
And it's funny because, Disney villain, like, first of all, Deadpool wasn't part of the Disney universe until a few years ago, actually very recent, as well as Darth Vader, who wasn't part of the Disney universe until a few years ago as well. So, Darth Vader, I guess you could say Darth Vader has a song but doesn't sing. It's the Imperial March, but that's not really right. But it doesn't start. But it is iconic.
Iconic indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. And I will say I did refrain from I didn't put any Star Wars stuff on my list because I went more of the traditional Disney animated film route. So
you did really good.
Yeah, I refrained from Star Wars stuff. And I could have, because I would have been legitimized, but I did not.
Agreed.
Just spoiler alert. All right. So moving right along, my number 3 pick on my top Disney villain tunes is actually one that I will honestly say I sort of forgot about, because I'd forgotten that this was a Disney film or made into it or became a Disney film. Because I don't remember it actually being a Disney film when it first came out. I think Disney kind of acquired it or something like that. However, Don Bluth, who was a Disney animator, then went off on his own, and they kind of he was the lead animator on this film, as well as I also believe the director. And that would be the film Anastasia, which I had gone to go see in the movies, the theaters, not once, but twice. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really great. And I love their characterization of Rasputin in this and how villainous they made him. I mean, he looks like the classic Disney villain, which I thought was great. And then you take that Don Bluth animation style and throw that, and he's just awesome at doing that. And if anybody's ever seen the non-Disney film, The Secret of Nim, which is one of my favorite animated films of all time, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But Anastasia is a great, great movie. And the song that he does in the dark of the night, I think is it's a great villain song. And it's a little different from, I think, some of the other Disney villain tunes from the past. But I also find it to be very also sort of traditional in a way. So I think it blends with doing something a little bit new in the Disney universe, but also still paying homage to many of the classic Disney villain tunes. And I just thought it was great. I mean, you can't go wrong with an evil wizard song in my house. You just can't go wrong with that. He's an evil wizard and he sings a song about being an evil wizard. It's fantastic. So I love it. And if you've never seen Anastasia, I mean, I tell you, watch it. It's on the Disney Plus app. Great film, all great songs too. I really do like that film a lot. And the thing is, I haven't watched it in a while, and I kind of forgot about it until we started revisiting. We said, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that song is so good. I really like that song. So that's why it's on that's why it made my number 3 on my top 3 list of villain songs. Is that in the dark of the night. He's so diabolical. It's fantastic.
And that's one thing that I know we love about doing the show is when we're digging through and coming up with our picks each week.
Yeah.
Do dive into songs that we have completely forgotten about, or we recapture some memories that went along with songs. So if you're new here, just buckle up because this is a fun weekly ride.
Yes, absolutely 100%. And, and it's also too, like, I will say that I've discovered a lot of music that, once again, the whole premise of the show is that we share songs that the three of us, that both of us don't think that we've ever heard before. Mm-hmm. And so Amanda Sharp has definitely broadened my musical palette. I will definitely say you have opened me up to a lot of music I previously really did not listen to a lot of.
Likewise. Sometimes it's literally hurt to my brain, but
but that's the show. But that's the show. And Gene White checking in with Anastasia was great and performed at the beginning as a duet in High School Musical show. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's awesome, Gene. Very cool. Very, very cool. And just a reminder, if you'd like to participate in the live show, we do go live every Monday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on Facebook and Twitch for the live show. And of course, all replays can be watched over on our YouTube channel or on anywhere you get podcasts. That's where the audio feed lives. Anywhere you get the podcast. Anywhere.
Absolutely. These comments are real, in real time. We're not just like pulling them out of a hat to make it seem like we're talking to people.
Yeah.
We swear they exist.
He swears it.
He swears it.
All right, Amanda Sharp, what is your number 2 top Disney villain song?
My number 2, which I want to be very clear, is ridiculously far away from my number 1. My 2 and 3 is nowhere near my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big gap. So it's not like this is still my favorite. But of my choices, I'm going to go with Prince Ali from Aladdin.
Nice. That Jafar. Great Disney villain. In fact, I think Mark Ronick did that on our Instagram account when we had top Disney villains, and he put Jafar on there.
He is a wonderful villain. Yes, he's just great. His appearance is what I want to see in a villain, as opposed to like Gaston. He's excellent. He's very, very good. I really like the movie Aladdin. My baby sister liked it more, so I feel like we watched it a lot because of her, but I liked it. So it wasn't like I was being tortured. But I have to say that magical rug, when they're going on a whole new world and they're just riding,
right?
Or like, if any man pulled up to me on a magical rug and was like, "Hey girl, let's go travel the world," I'd be like, "I'm good. I get car sick." Like, I mean, I could never ride on a magical rug.
You could never ride on a magical rug. And it's because you would get sick?
I would get so sick. I would be puking my guts out. So every time I watched it, I was like, gosh, man, good for her not puking.
I can imagine you on a magical rug, though. If I rode with you on a magical rug, do you think you'd feel better about it?
I still think I would puke, but I wouldn't be as embarrassed puking.
Yeah. Oh, and Mark thank you, Mark. Oh. Mark's coming in with the correction. It's a magical carpet, not a rug.
I'm so sorry. It is. Oh my God. These people are going to be hating on me.
Thank you for the correction, buddy.
Magical carpet doesn't make it any less worse that I'd be puking on it, but.
I don't like roller coasters, so I kind of think it may feel roller coaster. Yeah. Plus, you're not strapped in and you're on a carpet, and it's doing these twists and dives. Yeah, I don't know if now that I think about it, I don't think I could do it.
And this just isn't an adult me thought. This is a kid me thought. And I mean, my prince could have come and I would say, peace out. Like, you got roller skates?
Yeah.
I mean, but I do really like the movie. I think it's cute. Jasmine, I think, is beautiful.
Jasmine's a great Disney princess.
Her itty bitty waist, like
itty bitty cartoon waist.
Her itty bitty cartoon waist. She's so pretty.
So do I detect a hint of Amanda Sharp wanting to be Jasmine?
I would have absolutely 1,000%. Her hair was thick and gorgeous. Yes.
Yes.
Give me some Jasmine features.
All right. Well, there you go. I feel like this is going to be your next Halloween outfit. Actually, maybe even before Halloween. I think the next show I'm just going to see all of a sudden Amanda's going to be in a Jasmine outfit.
She'll wear it very much better than I would, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm more confident at 41.
There you go. I like that. I will listen. That's a good pick, though. That's a good song. That's a good song.
It's
And I think a lot of people would agree with that. I feel like that would make a lot of people's villain lists, like top villain song lists.
at the very least, it'd go, oh, I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Aladdin was such an enormous, like, successful, like, film. And then, and I like Mark was saying, I haven't yet watched the live action version. So,
Same.
I mean, I've seen the trailer a bunch of times.
I wrote that. Yeah, again, Mark, I'm really sorry I called it a carpet. I mean, a rug, not a carpet. And then Dave Menningley, before we move on, it's a whole new rug. Like, it's a whole new rug.
Is that a go-to karaoke song for you?
That's not where I'll be. I will not be on the rug. And I've never sang this on karaokeing.
Really? That one?
Ever. And my whole world is flashing through my eyes now. Like, it seems so obvious.
Seems like an obvious choice for you.
It does. I'm just going to write that down for note purposes.
Just write that down. You may want to mark that down.
I'm going to put a big K next to it with a circle.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Chris,
all right.
What is your number 2 coming in this list of 3?
All right, moving on to my number 2. Disney villain 2. So this is one where I so what's funny about this one, my next pick, is that my wife and I were actually having a little bit of debate about this. And this was actually because I was going through this list and I was writing songs down, and she goes, well, what about this song? And then we were both kind of agreed, like, well, maybe, was he really? It was almost like the Deadpool thing. Like, is he a villain? Is he not a villain? Is he an anti-hero? Like, what was he? But you know what? When you look back at his actions, it really wasn't a good guy. So my number 2 pick is the song from the Jungle Book, I Want to Be Like You, sung by King Louis, sung by King Louis. And, we were having a little bit of a debate about that, because we're like, is he really the villain, of that story? And so it was kind of an interesting thing there. And what we decided on was that he actually wasn't he was a villain. I'm sorry. What we actually decided was he was a villain. And here's why we finally decided is that King Louis essentially does kidnap Mowgli and holds him hostage until he finally reveals the secret of the red flower. His villain song is upbeat and seemingly fun, and it introduces his character as an untrustworthy and sly character. And it also basically, King Louis is kind of two-faced, and so it's just sort of like one of those things where he actually is a villain. But like my memory was like, I don't really think King Louis was all that bad, but yeah, he was actually kind of not a great guy. So that's why he makes this villain list for sure. And I also love the song because, Louis Prima sings it, so it's got that swing and that bop to it, which once again is kind of different from most of the other Disney type songs. Like, I just love that kind of feel for it, and it also stands out like in that film overall from the Jungle Book. Like, and so I don't know, and growing up, Jungle Book, like when I was a kid, Jungle Book was like one of my favorite Disney films. I absolutely loved it. And I love that, like, Baloo kind of joins in on this song. It's a really fun song for a guy that's actually really doing a character that's kind of really doing some messed up stuff. Like, not a good guy. Like, but I just didn't think about him as that bad. But I'm like, he kidnapped a child and held him hostage until he was able to get what he wanted. Crazy.
Yeah, that would be considered a felony these days.
Right, that would be considered a felony.
It's a felony, so definitely that puts him into that villain lane, no doubt.
Yeah, so he is definitely in the villain lane, and that's why it is my number 2 song.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall hearing you and Rachel debate or discuss, rather.
We really did. We went down a whole rabbit hole about this song, and does it make the villain list? And ultimately, we agreed, yes, it makes the villain list. Because King Louis actually turns out to be more of a villain than we remembered.
And I do enjoy when a villain turns decent. I appreciate that sometimes, but that was just a random thought. Speaking of the people that you're like, are they kind of bad? But they are. Yeah. For this particular case, for sure. I think Jungle Book. When I think Disney, Jungle Book is one of the first movies to pop into my head. It's just a classic.
Yeah, I like I said, growing up, it was one of my favorite books. Favorite films, and yeah, I remember the book too. And I don't know, I always loved it. I always loved Baloo the bear, and actually, that's what we almost named our puppy.
When you baby.
We were originally going to get more of a blue Boston, and we were going to call him Baloo because Madison, my daughter, was like, "We're naming the dog Bear," and I'm like, "Well, let's call it Baloo because he's got blue fur." Then we wound up not getting a blue Boston. So his name's just Bear.
And he's adorable. But Randall was coming in saying when watching Disney, it's hard to think about villains and their songs. I agree. And that's why this episode was really rather hard. But we don't always do easy things.
No, we don't always do easy things. And this was a good theme because I really, you tend to underestimate the Disney villain songs, because you really do get the entire character arc out of those songs. And like you get everything you need to know about that villain. And the villains you have to have in most stories, especially when you're on this hero's journey type thing, which all these Disney movies are, you have to have a really good villain. If you have a crummy villain or a villain that falls flat, the story does not work. You cannot. It's impossible. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you watch some of the Marvel movies, like they aren't always great because sometimes the certain villains they put in aren't like the best villains, and you got to have a really strong villain to really give to complete like that hero arc and that hero's journey. And for the most part, most Disney most films have a really good villain. Yeah, and it's essential. It's absolutely essential.
Imagine being on the Disney like character creation teams, and like one person gets the princesses and another group of people get the villain.
Yeah,
like that would be really hard for me to try and create a villain.
Yeah, it would be really hard. I think I feel like it is. It's 100% harder to come up with the villain than it is the hero.
Yeah, like it would. Maybe they just get mean people.
Maybe, but I also don't think like mean is always just like the one character. Like mean is part, but like, you think about how many awesome villains there have been in films that are like, evil geniuses, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, it makes a big, like when you think of even like going back to like Sherlock Holmes and like, Moriarty, like, he's just as smart and just as clever as Sherlock Holmes. Like literally like they are the same person, except they're just opposites of one, they're on, one is good and the other one is
it's true.
Like, but they're both the same person.
They chose two separate lanes. Right.
Exactly. And that's too, I also feel like, a lot of these villains, when you think about it, they're literally the mirror image of like your hero.
It is true. It's so relevant to life. What lane do you choose? Stay on the lane of good, friends. Stay in the lane of good.
Stay in the lane of good. Positivity. Carpenters, think.
Yes, Merry Christmas, darling.
Christmas music and shoot.
Which update? I have yet to listen to a Christmas song since Christmas. I'm trying something new this year.
Well, it is only as of the date that we're recording this episode. That would be January 9th. So great job, Amanda. 9 days into the new year and no holiday music yet.
I'm going real strong this year.
Yeah, going real strong. I love it. Hold it. Hold steady.
I'm feeling quite the endurance with that right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. My very first pick, super far gap between first and second.
Your number one pick.
My number one pick of Disney villain songs is Poor Unfortunate Souls from The Little Mermaid.
Which I like, is Little Mermaid the most popular Disney animated?
It is for me. It has been my favorite for forever.
That is a great song, and I knew you were going to pick that song because I actually re-listened to our top Disney songs episode.
Yeah.
Because I spoiler alert, if you don't know, we did a remix version of it during the holiday break, so you can listen to a remixed shorter version of the show right now on the feed. And listening back to that episode, we talked about this song. Mm-hmm. Like this song came up as part of a discussion. However, it didn't make any of our lists then, but we did talk about it being like a really good song.
Yes, because spoiler alert, maybe another Little Mermaid song might have made the list for that episode. Maybe. So that is by far my favorite movie. I also disclosed during that episode that I had a Little Mermaid room until I was 16, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Not afraid.
Not afraid. I loved it so much. It's my favorite movie. So that scene when she's singing that song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she is. And there's something so feminine about her. Like, Ursula is gorgeous. She's a beautiful, evil villain.
Well, you know what it is? She's just so flamboyant, like so out there, so like confident and self-assured of her villainry.
And when she's like bopping,
yeah,
I'm gonna say it online. Like, it's not a bad word, but I was envious of her curves and boobs.
Yeah, well, and the tentacles. There's a whole thing going on with her.
So much to her that I was just like, she is just so gorgeous and feminine. So I actually don't even hate her as a villain. I just think she is a jealous, tormented soul herself that makes her want what she wants. And, I have to say, Disney did an okay job coming up with The Little Mermaid 2 and 3. But the villains did not reach Ursula at all.
There's a Little Mermaid 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know those movies at all.
I think there's a 3. I might be.
What, did they go direct to video? I know those did not come out. Those, because I know Disney would do that. After like the first one came out, they're like, we're just gonna go direct to DVD.
Oh my God.
DVD.
Now I'm really nervous that I said 3. I'm positive. Yes, there is. Oh, thank God.
I honestly had no idea there was a 2 and 3.
Well, there's The Little Mermaid 2 that has her daughter in it.
Oh.
And then Little Mermaid, Ariel's beginning.
Oh, so it was a prequel.
So it was a prequel. I was like, I swear there was 3, and then I got real nervous. So yeah, I really like Ursula, even though I don't like her. I'm conflicted there, but gorgeous villain, great curves, awesome song, clearly number 1.
If you're gonna make a sea witch, she's the sea witch to make. Like that's a perfect sea witch.
Yeah, absolutely. Had I had to create her as a villain for The Little Mermaid, I might have landed on something similar. Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. She might have been pink instead of purple, but gosh, I love her. So, Poor Unfortunate Souls, The Little Mermaid.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Gene White checking in with learned something new today. Little Mermaid 2 and 3, mind blown. Yeah, me too, Gene. I had no idea. Like, I just Little Mermaid. That is it. I didn't know there was a 2 and 3. By the way, being a prequel.
Well, in 2, it's her sister who's the villain.
Ooh, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, but yeah, it's her sister. So it's interesting. I would give it a whirl.
Okay.
Give it a whirl when you're bored, not when you're busy.
Right.
Don't
maybe throw it on in the background while you're doing some house cleaning.
Yeah, don't make the space to watch it, but if an opportunity arose,
don't make the space. I love that.
You can quote me on that one.
Yeah. Facts. You got it, Gene. Facts. Facts.
All right, Chris, your number 1 song for this episode is what?
My number 1 song for this episode. I got a feeling no one's gonna be like blown away. Like, I think everybody's gonna expect this one.
Probably.
Once again, it's not Star Wars related. There's no Star Wars on this list. Okay. But my number 1 song by a Disney villain, I think is like one of the best Disney villains going, is the Oogie Boogie song from Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, come on. That is like amazing. I love Oogie Boogie. I love the Oogie Boogie song. The Nightmare Before Christmas is just like, I know, I'm one of those people, though, one of those Nightmare Before Christmas people that absolutely loves Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, we do collect Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Like, there's, like, I wouldn't say we're super obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas, but I'm pretty safe saying that we are a full Nightmare Before Christmas household with all members of the Vaglio clan.
Agreement.
Christmas fans. Yes, we're all in agreement on that. And so I love the Oogie Boogie songs. It's like that, like almost like I don't know. It's just so different from, once again, all other, I feel like, other Disney songs. Completely, like, there's no mystery involved. Like, he is the Oogie Boogie, and he is there to, like, destroy Santa Claus and just wreak havoc in the land of Halloween Town. I just think it's so great. So it was performed by Ken Page and Ed Ivory, who both did Oogie and Santa Claus's voices. So I thought that was great. And I mean, the lyrics to this is just awesome. I mean, when Mr. Oogie Boogie says there's trouble close at hand, you'd better pay attention because I'm the boogeyman. If you ain't shaking, there's something very wrong because this may be the last time you hear the Boogie song. I mean, it's just like, it's kind of dark too. Like, and then you realize that like Oogie Boogie is like made up of like bugs and stuff like that. Like, it's all insides, like, it's a burlap sack with like 2 holes for eyes. Like, he kind of is like a burlap sack ghost. Like, it's so cool. I don't know. I just think it's a great song, and it's kind of along the lines of like the I want to be like you, like the Jungle Book song Louis Prima. So it's got that like sort of like roll and swagger to it, and he's rolling the dice, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so cool. So I feel like that this is one of the best like Disney villain songs of all time.
Of all time. Woo!
Yeah.
There's something about that movie that is just so different. Like, obviously it's different than most Disney like movies, right?
Oh God, it's like
so different.
It doesn't even, it almost feels like it's only a Disney movie by default. Like,
yes, I agree. Like, so it's really hard to lump, like, in my brain when I think of Disney villains or Disney princesses or anything like that. It's really hard for me to just like have this be automatically in that list in my brain, but it is. But it's so interesting and so not dark, but dark.
It's so dark. I mean, the story. I mean, basically, it's like, Jack Skellington, the god of Halloween Town, is bored and wants to do something different. And the thing is, it's like, once again, it's these things where like he's like, oh, I'm gonna do Christmas because he falls into Christmas Town, and like, but it's like he tries to do something good, but it doesn't come off good at all. It's like horrible. So it's like a Halloween version of Christmas that you get, which is I think it's an amazing premise. But like, and you're like, okay, there's all this going on. Then all of a sudden you have the Oogie Boogie like thing happening where like they kidnap Santa Claus, and it's like, and like Jack doesn't want to kill Santa Claus, but like Oogie Boogie's like, no, I'm gonna kill Santa Claus. Like, he's literally like wants to straight up murder Santa Claus. It's crazy. Like, and this is a kids movie. Yeah, I agree. In Skellington's defense, Christmas does try to take over so many other holidays. I agree with you, Dave. I do agree with that. That's very, very true. But I will say, like, Jack Skellington never intended to have Santa Claus straight up murdered. And even says, keep Oogie Boogie out of it. And of course, the three misfits just can't not do it. And then, you've got basically the last line in the song is, it's hopeless, you're finished, you haven't got a prayer because I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie and you ain't going nowhere. I mean, come on. Yeah, Santa had it coming.
Daggers to the heart.
It's just, but it is. It's a really fun villain song. It's just great. Mr. Oogie Boogie. Oh no, it's just great.
But I think that's what I love about Disney movies and Disney songs and Disney villains and characters just in general. I think Disney's really open-minded.
Yeah.
And they've...
Unbelievable. It's so weird what they're open-minded about and then not. Like, but it's like, once again, it's like, how did this movie, like, I mean, you hear all the stories about this film and the making of it and the Tim Burton and, this and doing Batman at this. It's a crazy, and it's actually not even really, Tim Burton's name is on it by producer and the fact that it's based off of some sketches, but it's actually Henry O. Selick's movie. Like, this is his film, but Tim Burton gets all the credit. But Tim Burton honestly had very, very little to do with the making of this movie.
Isn't that the way? That's just the way. The clout of a name.
It's amazing. I mean, but that's Hollywood.
Tis Hollywood.
It's Hollywood.
Tis Hollywood. Well, my goodness, this was Challenging, yet so fun.
Yes, this was quite a show, quite a way to start off 2023 with a bag. Not only do a show that has nothing to really do with the reviews that we normally do, but we also announced a name change.
A name change. But we had some wonderful engagement from our listeners, our live listeners, that added some fun conversation. So we're grateful for every single one of those.
100% we are. And no, we really appreciate it. And once again, we do love everybody's support. And thank you all so much for hanging out with us and helping us grow this community, helping us grow this show as we enter our third season of what is now going to be called the Song Swap Showdown. So that will be a name that we need everybody to start getting used to, because that will be including ourselves, because that's something we're going to have to say all the time now.
Dave Manley. Did his last comment. He said,
the Chris and
Amanda show is dead. Long live the Chris and Amanda show. It's dead, but incidentally, it's so alive.
Oogie Boogie has captured the Chris and Amanda show name and is now holding it hostage, like King Willie from the King Jungle Book. And long live the Song Swap Showdown.
And I think it's only fair that we go to the gram, the Instagram, and the TikToker, and we do a poll based on our number ones, which is the top of our number ones. Yes. And our listeners and our community can gauge, is it Oogie Boogie song? Or is it Poor Unfortunate Soul? It's narrowed down to those two, and our community is going to have to vote. And we'll see who the winner is.
Absolutely. And the winner will the winner get?
I don't know. This is reminiscent to, what was the versions of the, the Rod Stewart's version of, what is the song?
Oh, Ooh La La.
Ooh La La. How can I not remember Ooh La La?
I know, I was thinking about, like, wait, oh yeah, I remember the epic Ooh La La battle of the Faces version versus the Rod Stewart version. That
was pretty, like, heavy.
It did. It got heated. It got heated.
Maybe this will be the Ooh La La of 2023.
It might be.
So be on the lookout for that reel and TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. Be on the lookout for that. And, and once again, thank you all again for all of your support. We're looking forward to an amazing 2023 as we begin to change the name of the show from the Chris and Amanda Show to Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. So if you see that come across your feeds, that is still the same. It's still us, still the same show, just under a different name. So don't be afraid.
At first I was afraid.
Yes, and absolutely. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, follow all the things wherever you are watching or listening to the show, because it does help the show grow when you do that. And and with that, I guess we will bid you adieu. And please follow us on all the socials, and we will see you guys next week for another live version of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown, formerly known as the Chris and Amanda Show.
Bye, everyone.
To get notified every single time we drop a new episode of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown, just hit that follow button wherever you get your podcasts. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, please use the email address in our show notes and we'll get right back to you. And last but not least, please feel free to follow us over on our social accounts on Instagram and TikTok at Song Swap Showdown, or join our ever-growing community in our Facebook group by using the link in our show notes. Thanks for listening.